Dasakam 19. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி 18 வரலும் அமைச்சிருக்கேன்னு பார்த்தேன். ஓகே, பிரச்சேதசாம் கதா. ரைட், இது நம்ம கிரமேண சர்க்கே அந்த ராகத்தில் தான் படப்போம். பிருத்தோஸ்து நப்தா பிருத்து தர்ம கர்மடஹ பிராச்சீனபர்ஹி பிராச்சீனபர்ஹிர் யுவதௌ சதத்ருதௌ प्रचेतसो नाम सुचेतसस्सुतान् अजीजनस्त्वत् करुणाङ्कुरान् इव पितुस्सि सृक्षा निरतस्य शासनात् भवत्तपस्याभिरता दशापि ते पयोनिधिं पश्चिमम् एत्यतत्तटे सरोवरं सन्ददृशुर्मनोहरं तदा भवत्तीर्थम् इदं समागतो भवो भवत्सेवकदर्शनादृतः प्रकाशम् आसाद्य पुरः प्रचेतसाम् उपादिशत् भक्ततमस्तवस्तवं भक्ततमः तव स्तवं प्रकाशम् आसाद्य पुरः प्रचेतसाम् उपादिशत् भक्ततमस्तवस्तवं स्तवं जपन्तस्तम् अमीजलान्तरे भवन्तम् आसे विशतायुतं समाः भवत्सुखस्वादरसाद् अमीश्वियान् बभूव कालो ध्रुववन् न शीघ्रता तपोभिरेषाम् अतिमात्रवर्धिभिः स यज्ञहिंसा निरतोऽपि पावितः पितापि तेषां गृहयात नारद प्रदर्शितात्मा भवदात्मतां ययौ कृपाबलेनैव पुरः प्रचेतसां प्रकाशम् आगाः पतगेन्द्रवाहनः विराजिचक्रादिवरायुधांशुभिः भुजाभिरष्टाभिरुदञ्चितद्युतिः प्रचेतसां तावत् अयाचताम् अपि त्वमेव कारुण्यभराद् वरान् अदाः भवद्विचिन्तापि शिवाय देहिनां भवत्वसौ रुद्रनुतिश्च कामदा अवाप्य कान्तां तनयां महीरुहां तया रमध्वं दशलक्षवत्सरीं सुतोऽस्तु दक्षो ननु तत्क्षणाच्च मां प्रयास्यथेति न्यगदो मुदैवतान् ततश्च ते भूतलरोधिनस्तरून् कृधा दहन्तो द्रुहिणे न वारिताः द्रुमैश्च दत्तां तनयाम् अवाप्यतां तदुक्तकालं सुखिनोऽभिरेमिरे अवाप्य दक्षं च सुतं कृताद्वराः प्रचेतसो नारदलब्धया धिया अवापुरानन्दपदं तथाविदः त्वम् ईश वातालयनाथ पाहि माम्. नारायण अखिल गुरु भगवन् नमस्ते. Narayaniam Dasakam 19. In this we see the story of the great grandson of Pruthu Maharaj, Prachenabarhis, and his sons, the Prachetas. Emperor Pruthu Maharaj's son was Vijitashva, and his son, that is the grandson of Pruthu, was Havirdhana. Barhishad was Havirdhana's son. Barhishad now becomes the great grandson of Pruthu Maharaj. Like his great grandfather, Barhishad was highly virtuous and deeply interested in the Vedic rituals, in which he was very proficient. He performed many major sacrifices, and in continuation of them, many minor ones also. In all these sacrifices, it was necessary to keep the blades of the kusha grass with their pointed ends turned eastwards. As these sacrifices were conducted continuously one after another, at sites very close to each other. The entire land was covered with kusha grass pointing eastwards, and this earned Barhishad the name Prachenabarhis. Prachena means east. As suggested by Brahma, Prachenabarhis married Satadruti. She was the daughter of the deity presiding over the oceans. She was so beautiful and charming in every way that the fire god himself developed a passion towards her the moment he saw her going around the fire during the rituals, richly bedecked with ornaments. And Prachenabarhis begot 10 sons through her. They all bore the common name the Prachetas. All were equally virtuous and lived with great respect and love towards each other. They were so noble that it seemed as though they were an embodiment of the Lord's grace on Prachenabarhis. The simile used over here, it says, it looked as if the Lord's compassion had manifested itself as 10 sprouts, that is, the 10 Prachetas. In other words, the Lord showered his blessings on Prachenabarhis not just in one way, but in many ways. Prachenabarhis was very much interested in increasing progeny. Therefore, he ordered his sons to engage themselves in the task of multiplying human mankind. The Prachetas firmly believed that the grace of the Lord was a must for any effect to be fruitful. Therefore, they decided to do penance and reached the shores of the western sea in search of a proper place to do penance. There, they came upon a charming divine lake which attracted the mind of all. The divine lake was as extensive as the sea itself. The lake seen by the Prachetas is not any different from the divine pond that is situated on the northern side of the great temple of Guruvayur, where the presence can be visibly felt by the devotees of the Lord. This is stated in the Guru Pavanapura Mahatmyam but is absent in the Bhagavatam. This lake was very dear to the Lord Shiva, and he used to frequent the lake very often. Lord Shiva himself, being greatly a devotee of the Lord himself, was eager to see the devotees of the Lord. It's always a great pleasure for the devotees of the Lord to meet each other. Not only that, Lord Shiva did not differentiate between himself and the Lord. So, the devotees of the Lord were his devotees too. Therefore, with great admiration, he appeared before the Prachetas and imparted to them a great hymn on the Lord himself, which is called the Rudra Geetam. And the Rudra Geetam is capable of conferring immediate benefits. The recitation of the Rudra Geetam is considered to be very, very effective, and even today, devotees who want children repeat the hymn standing in the waters of the temple pond as the Prachetas did. They also go to Mammiyur to pray to the Lord Shiva. This Rudra Geetam is a hymn consisting of 47 shlokas and appears in the Bhagavatam. The Prachetas worshipped the Lord for 10,000 years, standing in the middle of neck-deep waters of the lake and repeating the divine Rudra Geetam imparted to them by Lord Shiva. In this context, a short description about the greatness of the temple tank known as Rudra Tirtham is also quite apt. Long ago, when Dwarka was submerged in the sea at the end of Lord Krishna's ascent to his abode after his incarnation, Brihaspati, the preceptor of the Devas, and the wind god Vayu were asked to install the Lord's idol worshipped in Dwarka by the Lord himself in a proper place. Travelling with the idol in search of a suitable site, they came upon a beautiful lake in Kerala near the shores of the western sea. Lord Shiva appeared there instantly and told them, "Install the idol at my present place without any hesitation. This place has been marked out long ago, which would be most suitable for the God and for the good of the worlds. It is at this place that Shiva had imparted the hymn to the Prachetas." So Lord Shiva voluntarily vacated his residence from Guruvayur to a place called Mammiyur, which is about half a kilometer away and which is even today a great Shiva temple worshipped by all devotees who visit Guruvayur. The lake that we have mentioned earlier is none other than the Rudra Tirtham, where the Lord Shiva imparted the hymn Rudra Geetam to the Prachetas. It is said that the Prachetas meditated on Vishnu standing in the waters of the lake for over 10,000 years. So why did the Prachetas do such a long penance? And now we have the answer. Does the long penance mean that the Prachetas lacked intensity in their devotion? Or was the Lord not kind enough to them? Or was it that the hymn Rudra Geetam imparted by Lord Shiva himself was ineffective? The long duration of the penance was the desire of the Prachetas themselves to be continuously in a state of enjoyment or bliss derived from worshipping the Lord. They had absolutely no desire that the Lord should appear before them soon or that they should get extraordinary boons from him. On the contrary, they even had a lurking desire that the Lord should not appear too soon, so that would break the spell of enjoyment of bliss. Thus, because of their deep desire to be in the state of bliss, the Lord did not appear before them in a short time, as he had done in the case of his great devotee Dhruva, who undertook intense penance with the sole objective of finding a solution to his sorrow at the earliest. The Lord's delay in the case of the Prachetas, as well as his hurry in the case of the child devotee, both show his kindness and affection towards his devotee. Prachenabarhis was very keen on conducting sacrifices. He had killed many cows in the various rituals he had undertaken. Prachenabarhis was released from all his sins because of the long and the severe penance of his sons, and he became completely pure. At the same time, the divine sage Narada came to his palace. Narada imparted his knowledge of self to the king. After that, leaving instructions to his sons, the Prachetas, to take care of the people, the royal sage retired to the hermitage of Kapila. There, the royal sage constantly meditated on the lotus feet of the Lord Govinda with great devotion and concentration of mind. He was also completely rid of all his attachments. As a result, he attained Sayujiam as a form of liberation. The Prachetas spent a long time worshipping the Lord without being keen on seeing him. They were content as true devotees with the enjoyment of the bliss derived from worshipping the Lord. Yet, out of abounding grace, the Lord manifested before them, seated on the Garuda and with 8 arms holding divine weapons. Here we see the expression Prakasham Agaha, implying that the Lord was already present in the hearts of the Prachetas, but now made himself visible to their external eyes. The Lord then granted them boons to the Prachetas unasked. When the Prachetas saw the Lord, they did not know what to do. They were just immersed in supreme joy on seeing the Lord and did not know how to welcome him. Yet, out of sheer grace towards the Prachetas, the Lord gave them boons even without their asking. He said, "O Prachetas, I am delighted with all of you." The Lord further said to them, "One who remembers the Prachetas every day at dusk will not only have the same affection for his brothers as for himself, but they will also cherish friendly feelings towards all living beings. Those who chant the Rudra Geetam, the hymn imparted to the Prachetas by Lord Shiva, will be granted all their desires and a brilliant intellect by the Lord himself. The hymn, the Rudra Geetam, will fulfill all the desires of those who chant it with devotion." Further, the Lord said, "You have joyfully carried out the command of your father. Your fame will spread to all the worlds. You take the daughter of the trees, Marisha, as your wife and enjoy with her for 10 lakh years. An illustrious son by the name Daksha will be born to you. Thereafter, with the impurities of your heart all burnt out through the unceasing devotion to me, you will ascend to Vaikunta. The story of Marisha, who is the daughter of the trees, is as follows. Long ago, Indra sent a celestial nymph, Pramalocha, to sage Kandu to break his penance. The sage was drawn towards her on account of her beauty and lived with her for long. In course of time, she became pregnant. Suddenly one day, the sage realized his mistake and ordered Pramalocha to go away. As the distressed Pramalocha was travelling back to her abode, she perspired due to intense grief. Her fetus flowed out of her body in the form of sweat. She wiped off the sweat with the tender shoots of the trees on the way. Thus, her fetus was transferred to the trees, and the wind god collected the same and brought them together into one place. As days passed, this fetus grew into a girl. Soma, the moon god, the king of herbs and the animal plants, fostered the child by putting his index finger dripping with nectar into the mouth of this girl. Thus fed, she became a beautiful damsel. In her earlier birth, she had obtained a boon from the Mahavishnu after intense penance to have 10 husbands. It is this young maiden that the Lord wanted the Prachetas to marry. The Prachetas were engaged in penance for a long period of 10,000 years. While they were so engaged, their father, Prachenabarhis, who was the king, had left the kingdom for Badarikashrama, this hermitage of sage Kapila. Therefore, there was no one to look after the kingdom. The entire earth had got covered with dense forests. When the Prachetas came out of the ocean lake, they found the earth covered with tall trees, preventing all agriculture and other activities and caused obstruction to the people. Angered at this, they began to burn the trees down by producing fire and wind from their mouths. Brahma, realizing that the Prachetas would destroy all trees, came soon before them and prevented them from this reckless act. The left out trees were frightened, and as ordered by Brahma, they gave their daughter Marisha in marriage to the Prachetas. The Prachetas thus got their wife, and as ordained by the Lord, they spent a long time of 10 lakh years enjoying with her. As blessed by the Lord, the Prachetas got a son through Marisha. When he grew up as a young man, the Prachetas left him in his mother's care and renounced the world. They further received self-illumination through the sage Narada. Having received the instructions on the Atman from Narada, the Prachetas attained liberation. The Dasakam 16 had described the sacrifice performed by Daksha, born out of the thumb of Brahma during the time of Swayambhuva Manu. The same Daksha was reborn as the son of the Prachetas during the time of Chakshusha Manu because of his act of humiliating Lord Shiva. Dasakam